Good morning, welcome to Headline Focus here live on Core Politics with me, Rob Double. In fact, good afternoon. It's slightly later than usual. Let's have a look at what's making the news on Thursday, the 21st of October 2018. And start off with police risk of becoming irrelevant. Now, this is a key headline coming through from a report by the Home Affairs Select Committee. Obviously, reports from committees like these, very significant, take a lot of evidence, a lot of statements from all the types of people involved in this area, and really is quite a hard-hitting report. Forces in England and Wales are struggling to cope, according to the report, as a result of their outdated technology, falling numbers and fragmented leadership, with the police being at risk of becoming irrelevant to most people. That's according to the report, most officers, without more officers being engaged with local communities. Now, these conclusions, as I said, pretty hard-hitting stuff, will not make good reading for a Conservative government. Conservatives obviously have historically been viewed much more to be tackling crime, being hard on crime, ensuring that the rule of law and justice is maintained. But also for Theresa May, the Prime Minister, former Home Secretary, one of the longest-serving Home Secretary. She knows all about policing. She knows all about the details of this case, and to be having these headlines will no doubt be a headache for her as well personally. Let's just have a look at a couple of the conclusions. Number of crimes recorded by the police is growing, but arrests, charges and summons have fallen to shockingly low levels, according to a report for some offences. Some forces are so badly overstretched they are unable to even investigate many crimes. The report goes on to accuse the Home Office of a complete failure of leadership in driving forward the effort to tackle new patterns of crime and provide police technology on a national basis. Now, there's been a call on the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, to hold what's called a root and branch review of policing. That's basically looking at the whole of policing and trying to make some improvements, whether that be a pooling of resources or other kind of structural changes that will be that can take place. Also, just the issue of funding as well, the idea of money to fund boots on the ground for police officers. That is undoubtedly going to be something which was brought up today and continues to be brought up around policing, the numbers and the resources available in terms of financing the efforts to tackle crime. But very, very significant, as I said, for Theresa May, former Home Secretary, leading a government with headlines like these will no doubt be something that the Labour Party in particular, Jeremy Corbyn, will be very keen to remind people of in the weeks going forwards. Next up, let's have a look at Theresa May, though. She's had not too bad a week so far, actually, considering what was, if you remember what was being reported on the Sunday newspapers, how language such as Theresa May should bring a noose with her, or her own noose with her, or something like that, from an anonymous source, a Conservative MP, talking about her attending the 1922 committee. Well, that was last night. She did attend, and as you can see here from the newspaper scrap we've got here, May silences Tory haters. This is the Metro, I think, their front page. Theresa May won the day and actually charmed and won the support of her Conservative MPs in this committee, with regardless of what had been reported as being a showdown and Theresa May receiving a grilling. Amber Rudd, former Home Secretary, said the job for the Prime Minister, her job is safe. She won the room and secured her position with a heartfelt speech. That was in the reports in the Evening Standard. The backdrop of this, as I said, what went on the weekend just shows the volatility of what's going on in politics, but particularly in the Conservative Party at the moment. Theresa May, she's either about to be kicked out of the party, about to be kicked out of Downing Street, or she's home safe and dry for the time being. Just gives you a sense of this is the current report at the moment, can be changing in the next few days, next few weeks, depending on what is going on. And obviously what is going on is going to be what's going to be going on in the Brexit negotiations. 95% complete, Theresa May has been saying for the past few days. She's still got to resolve the issues, though, of what's going to go on with the Irish backstop. She's still got to get this clarification and get the details through for an agreement to be made. This will be, again, further challenges for her, but at least for the time being, in her Brexit position, and indeed her time on the steps of number 10, is secure, which is quite a significant moment for the Prime Minister. Finally, one more story. This came through in PMQs yesterday. It's been on many of the front pages today, or links to this story in many of the front pages. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, vowed to tighten regulation around non-disclosure agreements in Prime Minister's questions yesterday when asked about it. New measures set to be tabled as early as next week. That's the reports coming through. Now, this is about non-disclosure agreements. Theresa May said that some employers were using gagging orders unethically to conceal abhorrent sexual harassment in the workplace, which should not be allowed. Now, this issue of the use of non-disclosure agreements, there's been a number of reports on it on recent months, and indeed the use of them, but also the reporting of them by the UK press. You'll see those in a lot of the headlines looking at the papers today. This follows up as well on what the BBC Newsnight has been reporting on as well, which is that in terms of NDAs, it is close to home in terms terms of UK politics, or at least seems to be close to home, as a Freedom of Information request by BBC Newsnight said the House of Commons has spent 2.4 million on gagging clauses for former staff since 2013, with reportedly 53 departing members of the House of Commons service signed contracts compelling them not to reveal information about the Commons. Now, a House spokesman has said, though, that those clauses were used to resolve employment disputes under certain circumstances. But expect this story and indeed the issues and the tangential stories surrounding this main issue to be rumbling on in Westminster. It's certainly not been going away in the last few months, and indeed there's been a lot of noise being made about it this week, no doubt leading towards the end of the week as well. We'll hear a lot more and more developments and more opinions coming through from MPs and those in the political sphere. That's pretty much it for today. You're up to date. Don't forget you can find all the latest on what we're doing here on Core Politics on our Facebook page and Twitter right here. But from me and all the team here at Core London, see you bright and early on Monday morning for another Headline Focus.